The cold has started. The sweaters are out, the blankets are on the bed, and it was a very cozy morning. So I felt that the meditation had that feeling of coziness. And thank you for the comment, Lisa. And I was noticing myself these past days with a lot of judgment in my mind, and after judgment comes fear and separation. We had the shooter a few days ago here in Maine, and it was actually one of those that are very brutal in the sense that it was in several locations and there was no resolution right away. And so there was a persecution and a hunt, and then finally they found his body. And first of all, it's shocking that it sounds normal, right? There was a shooting somewhere in the US. It was a little shocking that it's in, right around the corner here, and it's such a peaceful area of the country where it seems like everything is just very gentle and inviting. So that normalcy of that, first of all, was very shocking. But also the harsh thoughts that came towards the person who committed these acts. And I'm not justifying the acts, but I don't want to be in that feeling and vibration of judgment and separation. And there's nothing that can excuse taking the lives of so many people without any rhyme or reason, honestly, and in such level of violence. But um, beyond the act or the person or the reasons that could be behind, or whether he had a mental illness or not, or any possible logical justification that could come from a rational mind to this, is the effect that it has in our bodies when we enter into this space of judgment and separation. And as we know, we're all capable of unspeakable violence, when pushed enough and belief is justified. If that potential is inside of all of us to begin with, we need to look at that reflection in the world, but also the effect that it has on us. And I was also, dealing at work with some people that were a little frustrating. And I was like falling into judgment very, very quickly. So realizing that it's really not justified for any magnitude to go into that space of harsh judgment. And then finding a way back, not to lose the objectivity. The facts are not changed, the effects of the actions are still present, the damage done to people, it's real. And I'm speaking, the little things that are happening at work and the big scenario of this person going and killing people. But I can witness this and allow it to sink deeply into myself and fall into pain and judgment and fear, or I can witness this and maintain a compassionate heart. And when I do this, and it's not always an easy exercise, I notice that I'm being compassionate with myself. And in a moment like this is the most important action we can take, because the moment we lose that space of compassion with ourselves and we're falling deeply into pain, fear, and separation, we are affecting our body profoundly, and we are affecting the field around us, and we're affecting the people around us. And that is not what I want to put out there in the world. So once I can come back to a compassionate heart, I can start to witness with more calmness in my body. I can start to take actions, and we can take actions in any direction. If it's work, there's things that I can do. If it's something like this shooting, I can witness this, and I can choose the kind of words that I put out there. Am I sending compassion to the families, to the victims, to the situation, to the war veterans that are so damaged? Or am I going into judgment of people who own guns, and people who are violent, and people who are, aggressive to others? And both things and both thought patterns are valid, but where do I want to put my energy? right? If I'm going from judgment and separation, I am just seeing the people with guns that are violent. But am I also seeing the patterns of thought and education that are creating the need for people to have guns? Or the patterns of thought and separation that are leaving behind the veterans that are coming back, you know? So there are a lot of different directions where my mind could go. And if I were called to do so, I could take action in any direction. So where am I going to take action? Mhm. And if it is in work, how am I going to communicate with my people at work that are creating trouble, you know? And I'm using these two examples because they're kind of two extremes of judgment, right? And one is very relatable and an everyday thing, and the other one is a very shocking thing. And we've talked also about this related to the war, but I feel that it is our responsibility as conscious breathers to keep awakening the love and the compassion in our hearts. It does not mean we cannot take action. It does not mean that we see the negative effects of the actions that have been taken, but let's be gentle with ourselves and let's focus our mind in productive dialogue, in productive action, and in loving and compassionate views of what is unfolding. And I hope this doesn't sound like I'm putting blinders on top of my eyes. That is definitely not my intention, but I am definitely looking to the course of action that could be the most loving. And I think the most loving we can be is to ourselves. And that is going to permeate our thoughts and our actions. And I do notice um, that this thought of fear that kind of permeates all judgment and separation, you know, and it can be small, you know, all these people at work are going to make my life complex or hell, or, you know, they're going to ruin it for everybody, or these shooters are going to be coming around the world and war is going to spread all around. It doesn't matter what is the magnitude of the thought. These judgment and separation immediately feeds fear. And fear leads to, I'm sorry for the word, more stupid reactions and responses and more pain, right? So if we're going to take action, if we're going to have a dialogue, let's not choose fear. Let's choose compassion. And let's make it easy to get there by focusing on being loving and compassionate towards ourselves. Mhm. Because we all care about ourselves. So if we shift it because it's good for us, that makes it easier to shift. And then it makes it easier to navigate life in that sphere, in that environment, in that focus. All right. So I hope this doesn't sound completely irrational and it sounds productive and doable for all of you. And of course, if this does not resonate with you, by all means, just please ignore it and carry on with how you're feeling, because this is also very important to honor our feelings and to move through this process at our own pace and our own rhythm. For sharing this, because this is what we need to do with these kinds of emotions. And you are correct. This is happening all over the world. Violence is very present right now. You know, we have it magnified in the world, and we have terrorists all across the world, and we have drug lords fighting for territories. And so there's a lot of instances where we're witnessing violence all around us. And it's really important to feel it from that place that you're expressing so beautifully to us, you know, that place that brings compassion and that allows us to cry. And this cry that I'm seeing in you, it's very loving to yourself. You're just letting that emotion overflow instead of trying to contain it or direct it into anger. It's just flowing through you. And when that emotion flows, then it's resolved in a big part of it, you know, and then the mind can be clearer for us to function. It's not, you say that's all we can do, but it's not a small thing, you know, when fear and aggression is coming into the world, when we put love and faith into the world, it's a big deal. And it's harder to maintain the love and the faith when we're surrounded with things that challenge us. It's very easy to be, you know, in faith and in love when everything's going our way. but to be able to put love and faith into the world when it's not looking the way we want to, that is when it's needed. And that is when it's really relevant. So it's not a small thing. Yeah. Yeah, and how you're feeling after that visit, Ron? It's not a small thing, to feel it so real. There's a sense of surrealism, when we're listening to
Yeah.
the news and we're so used to seeing all this violence. There's a detachment that is happening to us, and when we
Yeah.
become so real, it changes inside. So how are you feeling? She told me you did a great job. She's like, I'm so happy Ron came. He's been amazing. So yeah. Yeah, I really wanted to stay for the second week, after working for a week with the ladies. I really wanted to work with the gentlemen,
Yeah.
and I can see um, how some of the structure mental patterns that are in
Oh,
this group in both genders,
yeah.
affect the
Yeah.
dynamic. And we're very excited, for those of you that don't know, we had a seminar for 16 ladies in an Orthodox Jew community near New York. And I mean, really Orthodox. And then right after that, there was a seminar for, I think there were, I don't know how many,
13.
14,
13.
right?
Yeah.
And it's a big step. It's a big step, and the community is really excited about it. We finished the seminar with the ladies, and we were having a dinner with Judy, and we got a message. I got a message, and the message literally said from the organizer who we did the seminar in her house. She said, "Judy has gone viral on the community." Judy
Well,
has gone viral. And
did,
everybody was calling us for private sessions, and more gentlemen wanted to sign up for the seminar. We could not receive more because we did not have enough facilitators and space, but there was a waiting list for that seminar for the gentlemen. So glad, and I'm especially glad to hear you say I can do this, because you definitely can. I know that for a fact. So the fact that you know it too makes me very happy. And also, this community really, really needed any pair of hands that was available.
yeah.
There's so much healing that needs to happen. There's so much
Hmm.
pain, past and present. There's so complex family dynamics. And
Hmm. Yeah.
it doesn't mean the social dynamic needs to change, but it can awaken loving hearts within the households, and that can change the
That's it.
dynamic, which is the most painful one,
Yeah.
because the restrictions that are outside in their way of dressing, the things they can do or cannot do, that they can handle. What is really painful is the violence and lack of respect that is happening inside those houses. So
Hmm.
this can
Yeah.
definitely change a
Hmm.
lot in that community. So
Yeah.
I'm
Hopefully.
very excited. Yes, you guys are gonna be really busy, those of you that are nearby. And I also advise Abe to come at least once a month to do, and I think it's worth it if you go in there, Lisa, to just stay for a day or two. Like, get an Airbnb or a hotel and just spend 2 nights there and to do sessions. You'll be booked. I can guarantee you will be booked. There are some hotels that have like suites, where they have like a bedroom and like a living room area.
Yes.
So if you
Yeah.
get a hotel like that, and that's, your hotel rate, and then you just bring your mat and everything, you set it up in the living room area, that's acceptable. And then people can come to you, you're not moving around. And you have to build the price of the sessions to cover your cost. Okay, so you realize you think about how many sessions you can do, and then, okay, this is my rate, and this is what my travel expenses are, and this is going to be the price for my session there, and then you announce it, and whoever is available will come. Don't go driving on the same day and come back home. No, spend
Yeah.
2 or 3 days
Okay.
there and book enough sessions, and you can actually tell the organizer, I would like to, if I come, I would like to be there for 2 days, and have this many sessions booked, and this will be my price. Do you think this is reasonable? And she will tell you. And they're going to try to negotiate, and you stay firm, okay? You stay firm. And you say, because they're going to say, no, it's hard for us because we don't have so much and things like that. And that is okay. They can express that. But this is your work and your time, and you need to be gentle with yourself. And I know we all feel deeply for this community, but trust me, I have done that before, and it's not sustainable. It is not sustainable, right? So in order to be able to continue to do this, you need to stick to your guns. And then as you get more familiar with the community, you can, maybe see if there's anybody in the area that wants to come, and then you can do a small workshop for the people that cannot afford it, and you do like a 6-person workshop for them. Or if you're alone, you can do a 3-person workshop and split the cost between them and things like that. But in order for this to be sustainable, you need to start with this. If you start with lower prices and making concessions, it's just gonna keep going lower and lower. They need to see, especially, not trying to be stereotypical, but especially this community, you need to be a harsh negotiator for them to respect you as a businesswoman. And you should have the organizer do this for you, like and actually I will recommend that you set up a simple website where you can charge and book the sessions right there, so that you're not dealing with people and the money, so they can pay you in advance online. And if you need help setting a simple website, my sister can charge you a fee and set it up for you. Or there's people who do it online. You can go on Fiverr. But this way you have a calendar and you have your rates, and then she can just send the announcement to the community. This is Lisa, she's gonna be here these dates, go to her website. So people, they just go and they book it, whoever is at first, and then you don't have to have these conversations with them. Educate them, Lisa, okay? They're gonna show up late, but you're not going to extend the session. Like we did at the training, I was pushing for that. And you notice how they started to come earlier?
Yes.
So you say,
Yeah.
I'm sorry that you're late. I'm happy that you came. We have now 30 minutes left of your session. So let's get to it, And they know next time, if they don't come on time, they're losing 30 minutes. Yeah, I will phrase it in a positive way, but yeah, that's a great idea, Samantha, and I'm very happy you're here today. We miss you. So I will say, please arrive 10 minutes before your appointment. Session will start on time and will end on time. And I think you've been with him through this journey, and it's beautiful that you're here. Yeah, it's important, and to not forget everybody's human, and it's important to keep that in mind. If it's okay, I'll share a story with you guys. Where I grew up in Mexico, it's traditionally a state. Well, not where I grew up, actually. It's where I went to like junior high and then university. But most of my family lives there now. And it's the state that has traditionally grown a lot of the poppy flowers and marijuana that goes to the US. Now, of course, it also stays in Mexico. But when I was in junior high, it was just going all to the US. And everybody knew who these people were. And I was actually in a private school that was at the time one of the nicest ones. And the kids of these people, they were in school with me, because it was a good school and they had money. So of course they were gonna pay for it, right? And so everybody knew who they were, and they were very loving and compassionate people in their towns. They were the law, and they kept the towns very, very safe because they didn't want, nobody messing with their things. And they were like building things for the community and doing things like that. So there was like a clarity in my young mind, I'm talking junior high, that this was a bad thing. But there was also this other perspective that these were good people that were caring for their town and creating jobs and things like that. So there was like a confusion in my mind there. Then we had the US demand that Mexico go into war against the drugs in Mexico. We had like no problems. They were like doing their thing. So the US forced the government in Mexico to attack them. And what happened is they started persecuting them. They arrested many of them, killed many of them. There were shootings in the city, everywhere, very violent things. But what happened after that is the new leaders that came, because you chop ahead, other people come. They were not the same. They were not the same. And there was for about 5 years a very, very violent war in the city and the state where I was living. The ones you see in the news back then, like the chop the heads and they bring them over places and things like that. So this was like a very common occurrence. This level of violence was happening around us. So I know what it is, like you don't want to go out to a restaurant because they just had a shooting in a restaurant a week before. And, and you knew somebody who died there and things like that. And it's very easy to forget that these people are also people that have families and that they have children, and they care for their children. So there's like this idea that these people, these terrorists, these people who are doing war, they're just like little machines that are just living that way. But the perspective I had all this time was they have a family like mine and they love their children. And there was a time when some of the kids were kidnapped, and I knew them. I knew the kids, and I could feel the pain of these parents, for not having their kids. So I think that's one way to invite that love and compassion, to remember that they're people, that they were babies, that they were children, that they have their loves, that they have their hate, but they're also living life as we are. And I've shared with you also what happened at the prison, and how we face different kinds of people who have committed different kinds of crimes. But I just wanted to share this, to expand on your invitation to love them, to not forget that they're human and they have lives, and they're trying in their own way to create the world that they think it's best. And again, it's love that is coming out distorted as we talk about it in our training. And it's really, really hard some days to keep that perspective. But it is also the truth. It is also the truth. And terrorists, as you were saying, they might be one of the hardest groups to feel compassion for, but they really are following their beliefs. They really are fighting for what they think is a better world, which is so confusing for my mind. But yeah, sometimes it's just a matter of perspective. I think it's really important to acknowledge these feelings when they come. And, in Transformational Red, we do acknowledge that other life can come as experiences into our sessions. And I don't see why not. They could be present in other ways. And that's, of course, a personal belief. But what I do believe that can apply to all of us is what Michael Brown calls felt perception, right? And there's a little interview where he says, if we truly live and experience life through felt perception, we could never be violent to another, because we will be feeling what they feel. And it's about really removing this illusion of separation and acknowledging that we are definitely one with all. And maybe you're seeing this connection through the identity of a community and you're expanding your love and identity to them. But this is not unrealistic. This is the reality of our life. This is the reality of who we are. We are all the Jew, we are all the Muslim, we are all the Catholic, we are all the atheists, we are all the people in the world. And the depth of the love that you're expressing here is real. and it is profound. And if we are able to feel profoundly with our hearts and see the reality of the world and who we are, then all of this can become our reality, where we can love profoundly without boundaries and without limitations. So excellent. I would say dive deeper into this feeling and explore it and see where it takes you. See where it takes you. Don't judge it with the mind, just be in the feeling. Because the mind wants to question it. And that's what I see there. You're feeling it and as a reality, and your mind is trying to question it. But let go of that. Let the mind do what it does, but then just dive deeper into the heart aspect of this knowing that you have, that there is a connection with a different religious community. And honestly, Jew and Muslims, they have so many common roots and so many united principles. It's not, it looks like a far reach, because of the way the things are in the world, but it's really not that far. It's just there are different stages of evolution in their belief system. So it's not really that far. So dive into the heart.
Thank you very much. I will do. Thank you. I started. I think I will spend my day with myself.
Yeah, yeah. It's a big emotional shift happening for you today with the meditation and these realizations, and you speaking your truth out loud. So this is beautiful. Melinda, thank you for your comment. Yeah, I think Lumina's reflection it's important. It's really important. Yeah. So, well, we went very deep today. Never know. I never know where these calls are gonna go. And I'm so grateful for all of you for being here, for sending love to each other, for being supportive of each other. And I am very proud of the different steps towards growth that everybody's taking. Yes, and it's gonna be so good for your facilitation to be in 4AS staff. It's a different way of being present, and it's honestly really fun. It takes off all the pressure, and you're
Yeah.
just there as a
That's good.
companion, and you're so good at being a companion run. So I think you're gonna love doing level 4S stuff. I am so happy that you're thinking about going and bringing these people. They really need us. They really need somebody to stay present there in the community. And I know we'll have a bunch of facilitators there soon, but right now they are feeling their open hearts, and there's so much happening in the worldwide picture for this community. They need us right now. Amata, thank you for coming. Lubna, thank you for sharing. Mario, thank you for being a witness and sharing your beautiful smile with us as you allow us to express. It's so nice when somebody can just be heard and receive with a smile. Thank you. Melinda, thank you for doing the service to your brother as you're here with us and taking the time to send hearts and messages to us as you are there present with your brother. So thank you all. I love you. And I think this is a good time to finish the call. All right. Take care, everyone.